welcome. Thanks for joining. We're just talking about a pranayama practice that we're going to start class with today. Introspective, cooling, balancing, the opposite of alternate nostril breathing, which is stimulating, and you use your sun nostril. So we're going to try Chandra Vedana breath today. And it's, I think I would say, a little frustrating sometimes because it can get panic inducing when you're just learning how to do alternate nostril breathing. I like this one because it's simpler than the traditional alternate nostril breathing. We're going to use our, you just listen to me because I'm not going to mirror you on this one like I normally do in yoga, but we're going to do our right thumb to our right nostril. We're only ever going to breathe in our left nostril. We're going to close both nostrils. You can use any fingers. This doesn't have to be fancy, certain fingers. Close both nostrils for just 3 quick breaths. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. Open that right nostril and breathe out there. So we're only ever breathing in left, out right, always through the nostrils. So if you need to grab a tissue or use your shirt, you may sometimes get a little like, that happens. But this should be a really wonderful, calming breath. And then we'll get moving. We will only take 5 cycles of this, okay? Get cozy, head on back to your mat. I'm just going to do it up close so you can see me, and then I'll head back to my mat when we start breathing. Okay, so remember, breathing in through left side, out through right side only. To begin class, let's just breathe twice, any normal way, just to kind of get ourselves going. One more nice breath in like that. And when you're ready, yogis, right thumb closes right nostril. Inhale any length through your left nostril. Plug both nostrils, hold at the top for 3, 2, 1. Open right nostril, exhale through it. Close right nostril, open left, inhale. Plug both nostrils, breathing 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the right nostril only. Try that again. In through left nostril, nose breathing. Pause, hold your breath, retain at the top. Exhale, right nostril. Twice more, plug right, open left, inhale. Quick pause at the top, relax your facial features. Exhale through your right side. One more time, inhale through your left nostril. Calming, soft moon nostril. Pause at the top for a moment. Exhale, right nostril. Our sun nostril, our stimulating, our awakening nostril. Let your hands go. Wipe your nose if it needs a little wipe. Sometimes things feel a little weird after that. And then when you're ready, yogis, good job. Let's, come back to that again at the end of class just to revisit. But we're gonna start on tabletop today. So as soon as you get to your favorite spot, make your way around, and if you need a little cushioning for your knees, we'll do some extra kneeling lunges today, so something soft nearby may be helpful. Let's just begin to spread our fingers wide and try to tuck your 10 toes under to wake up your feet. Start to move a little bit in all of the ways. Remembering that during our classes together, I really encourage you to explore by moving all different ways, make all different shapes. I'm going to be your leader for some alignment and certain types of postures, but I want you to find freedom to explore. And if you want to linger or marinate in a pose a little longer, please do that. Once you get a bunch of wiggles in, let's start to turn either both hands or one at a time in any new direction. Fingertips could face knees at the furthest. It's okay if we only do one at a time, and then start to bring some cats and cows in. Let's start with a cat for a full exhalation. Big, big exhalation, emptying your belly. That way we get a bigger in-breath when we roll into cow. For this cat, think angry Archie cat. It's almost spooky season. I love the fall and spooky season. Bring your belly down, tailbone, top of head rises, soften your elbows. And then make it your own. So whether you want to add a few body rolls or a few pushes and pulls through your rib cage. If you only had one hand turned, let's bring that one back and turn your other fingers any degree as far as fingertips to knees. big cycle of breath with this last hand flipped around. And if you had both of them turned, let's slowly wiggle our fingers back and then really softly press the backs of our hands down. Again, it could just be one at a time. Now we have tender wrists because we just did lots of stretches on them. So very soft. Leaning back is less intense, less weight on the wrists. If you want a little more, lean further forward. Explore again, rights to lefts. Try to go north and south and all the spots in between. All right, and when you've had enough of that, flip your palms back. If they feel extra tender, you're welcome to make fists and push really strong through your wrists. I'd like for you to try to lift both knees just a tad off the ground, just a tad. And if possible, we're gonna lift up through the right foot to ceiling, drop back down. Left foot to ceiling, drop back down. You're welcome to come from knees and just do a little push and drop, a little push. Flex your foot so you could leave a full footprint on the ceiling. Really open your cute little yogi toes. We're gonna try 4 more like this. Really low in your knees. Take a peek at them. See if they're hovering just an inch or 2 off the mat. Pause for a second and crouch back, buttons to heels. Shift weight back forward to that hovering tabletop. Welcome to drop knees, yogis. You make it your own. Little crouch. Little roll forward. Warming up wrists, shoulders, feel your quads, front of thighs, feel your bellies. We're gonna go for 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last round here. And then let's open up to a really short little downward facing dog. Wherever your hips rose is probably good, but can you widen, please, your pinky toes to the edges of your mats? Give a little shift through your hips, a little sway through your shoulders. Peek out under your armpits to stretch your necks. When you're ready, let's twist. Bend your right knee. Left hand threads under body and try to reach to the outside of your right leg, whether you hold your knee or all the way down to your heel. Straighten that right leg as much as possible and smile out from under your right armpit. Try to really pull on your left hand. Feel the bottom of your left shoulder blade being welcomed into your practice. Release with a big right knee bend. Press on back and swing and sway however you need to release. Let's try that on the left side. Left knee bends. Right hand weaves under the body, reaching for as low as your left heel or all the way up to the left back of knee. Give a firm pull on that right arm as you begin to straighten your left knee. Peek out under left armpit for a gorgeous twist. Think of wringing your body out like a washcloth here, really hugging onto our digestive organs and stimulating our spines. Let's unfold. Walk out to a longer down dog, whether you move your hands or your feet, step them in to where you feel really cozy in your dog. Give a bunch of shimmies through your hips and your shoulders. Take eye gaze one direction then the other. Pedal out. Do things that make you feel wonderful in your downward facing dog. Pressing through base of thumb and index finger, spiraling elbows forward. So your biceps roll forward and your triceps roll back. One more breath here. And then let's walk our tiptoes, lift up through your heels. Tiny little pitter patters forward, up to your thumbs. Gonna go through some sun salutations. So, great time to grab any props that will build the floor up and make your process a little bit more enjoyable. Before we begin, yogis, let's try to thread our arms behind our calves. So I'll show you from the side. We're gonna weave our left arm behind the right ankle and weave our right arm behind the left ankle. From the front, I'll lift halfway so you can see. Just a little hold on the back of the calves or ankles if you're able to. For a deep forward fold, bend your knees as much as it's necessary. We want to feel a stretch in our hamstrings, but not pain. On the edge of discomfort is a beautiful stretch, something that you can freely and easily breathe through. Let's uncross our wrists, lift halfway. Bring the top of your head long from tailbone, shoulders from hips. Take a moment here. Release again, but this time cross your left ankle behind your right. Try to plug your big toes into the earth for cross-legged forward fold. If your hamstrings are really tight, you can do this cool little bend in your right knee, and then your left kneecap fits right in that pocket, so it's really supportive. Straighten them if you need a little more, and try to let your upper body hang really heavy. I like to feel, I like to see and visualize tension rolling off my spine, down my scalp, off the top of my head. Feel free to give your head a giant nose shake here and release. Uncross your legs, lift halfway, trying to normalize our blood pressure since we're upside down a bunch in the beginning here. And then same thing the other way. Right leg crosses behind. We're going to try to press our big toes in. That'll encourage us to stretch fully left to right on the back of the leg. If you can touch the floor or a block, whatever you're supported on, try to bring the backs of your hands down for this one. Get another little wrist stretch before we begin. Tuck your head, hang extra heavy, pull your belly up and in, support your low back. And then if you shook your head no on the other side, let's get some positivity in our practice and give a big old yes. Let your head naturally stop when you're ready. Unflip palms, uncross legs, halfway lift, but bend your knees a bunch. Use your hands to your thighs. Press into an angry cat back and roll to the sky slowly, yogi, so you don't get dizzy. Lift up and overhead. Do you feel okay? That was a lot of upside down there. Whew. So stand for as long as you need. When you feel clear-headed, take a giant step behind with your left leg, like a little curtsy. And then hold on to your left wrist, but lift, then tip over. This may feel good enough that you just want to stay, but if you want to move a little, tiny baby curtsies, left knee coming towards the floor. If your right toes are pointed in an odd direction and your knee feels funky, let's make sure our knee is lined up with the middle of our right foot as we bend. Can you get a little extra pull as you curtsy over to the right? One more big one. Coming into the center, inhale, rise. Fingertips come behind our heads. Let's press our heads back and then try to open our elbows behind us. So instead of being here, we're gonna try to lift up. Use your fingertips to actually lift. And then press back and flare your elbows open. Feel your shoulder blades squeezing. So nice. One more big breath. Arms rise overhead as you inhale. Right leg steps behind for that little curtsy. Hold on to your right wrist. Tip up and over. Feeling like you could move anywhere. If it feels a bit too back bendy, reach forward. Once you find a happy place, let's start to bend, checking in with our left knees. If they feel good, keep the toes where they are, adjust as necessary. Tip a little extra if you can as you bend, reach. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Sending our body in two different directions, up with the torso, down with the low half. One more big one here. Undo that, reach to the sky. Did you notice outer thigh? That's where we're warming up there. Open through the arms, like your heart is being magnetized to the sky. Really lift up. Open your arms a little wider, possibly introducing a tiny back bend here. Clasp hands behind low back, right thumb on top. Try to press the heels of your hands together for a big opening. Knees bend, forward fold halfway. Soften your elbows here, and then lead with your knuckles skywards or as high as they're happy lifting, as you drop back into forward fold. All right, yogis, we've been slow and steady. Let's get some enthusiasm in this practice. Fingertips drop to low back. Slide down our legs so they don't clunk into the earth. Roll to rise. Watch me on the first one if you don't know these swings. We're gonna get a stable leg, maybe a little wider than midline. Inhale, arms rise. Bend your knees and literally swing. Go, whew. Inhale, rise. Exhale, swing. Whew. Bring in some energy in, breathe in. You can make it big and noisy like me. I just want to make it loud so you know how to breathe. But if you like breath with noise, that's perfectly fine throughout your practice. One more big one. Right knee rises, hold, maybe we slow down for a second. Exhale, swing. Left knee rises, breathe in. Now, if you tend to get dizzy with a lot of swings, you can keep your eyes forward and swing like this, okay? Lots of looking down and up can get us a little woozy sometimes. Last one like this. Lean back with the right leg. It's called a glute squeeze. Lift, lengthen, exhale, swing. Left leg, same thing. Reach back. Always moving at your pace. Can be much faster or much slower than mine. Find breath. Our vinyasa is that dance between breath and body movements. One more. Come to the right side this time. Make the arms a little bigger. Inhale. Maybe they want to float down wide now. Left side, squeeze. Exhale. Love that. Squeeze, lengthen, float. Try to fly a little wider. One more each side, yogis. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Awesome job. Stay at the tippy top. Take your fingertips up high. Just take a second. Notice how you feel. Hopefully a little buzzy. Maybe a little energized in your fingertips or your toes. Just notice. Bring hands through heart center. Like there's a little baby swimming pool this big. Down on the floor, we're gonna dive into it. Take your body down, really slowly articulating your spine as you fall. Forward fold. Right leg takes a lunge back, yogis. Take a second. We're gonna kneel just our first set, and then you choose from here what feels good for you. A little rocking, a little rolling. Bring hands to left thigh. Keep them there as you push up. Really push up like you're tractioning your spine. Use lots of hands to lengthen. Inhale, arms rise. Lengthen through fingertips. Make a prayer overhead and drop your thumbs to the nape of your neck. Lifting the points of your elbows higher, but knitting your front ribs in. So we're not back bending here. We're just lengthening from the tips of our elbows. Spread arms wide behind you. Open them up like a V. Frame out front foot and shift back into that half split. So nice. One of my favorites. But soften your left knee. And then if you want to, travel around the outside of your left leg. But as you do, squeeze your inner thighs together so we don't twist with our hips. We're going to try to twist with just our upper bodies. Activity and energy. Brightness in your left yogi toes. They're open. The webbing is energized. Come on back and find a cat-cow, tabletop. It can be wide because we're going to scoot through in a second. So exhale up to angry cat. Inhale to cow, and then pause in child's pose, landing your forearms. Striking cobra, yogis, watch if you don't know. Nose and chin skim the floor. We pull through for an up dog. It doesn't have to be up dog yet. Baby cobra is great place to start. A little back bend, okay? Pull back to child's. And then up to downward facing dog. Don't worry, we'll get to do it again. Right leg rises, take a breath, push away, really drive away. Use base of thumb and index finger. Equal weight distribution in your hands. Look forward, point your toes, cheetah crunch, nose to knee. You're welcome to be on left knee. And then drop into lunge. Lengthen your side bodies, pull the top of your head away from your tail. Float your back leg, if you can, a little high, soft landing to sky, and then fall to the floor. When you're ready to rise, yogis, just 2 swings at the top here. Inhale, rise out of that tiny little pool. We'll revisit it in a moment. Exhale, bend your knees. If you want to add a fancy knee lift, go for it. Otherwise, we're just going to swing plain vanilla. Hands at the top and pause. Come down to heart center, lift your heartbeat into your thumbs. Dive into that tiny little swimming pool. Left leg steps back. Kneeling lunge on this round 2 to really feel into our hips. Do some movements that feel great, a little swing and sway. Climb up your right thigh, really push, traction in your spine here. Lengthen, press away and see if you can get any more length between hips and ribs, length between ribs and armpits. Arms rise, prayer overhead. Thumbs to nape of neck. Use your head to push back into your arms and then lift from the points of your elbows. Poke up at the ceiling. Flare arms open to a big V. Eye gaze may want to follow, challenging your balance. Frame out the front foot and shift your hips back. So you're welcome to keep those big toes plugged in. I like to flex. I encourage you to do that to get a big hamstring stretch. Soft right knee, long sides. When you're ready, spin around the right side if that feels good. Think about opening our right toes, giving them a little wiggle here and there, maintaining breath and energy. Spin on back forward, finding that table again. Knees side by side. It could be a little bit wide between knees and heels of hands. Ease back to child's pose. Press your forearms down. Striking cobra. Skim the floor with your nose and your chin. If you want to come into up dog, go for it. But in the beginning, maybe we still want a little baby cobra, maybe a bit bigger. You do what feels great in your back bend practice. Press back to child. Tuck toes, rise to dog. Take as long as you need here, as long as you're really loving how everything feels. Left leg rises on the next in-breath. Toes point. Eyes look forward to thumb tips, and we cheetah crunch. Belly comes in, knee towards nose before we land that lunge. Felt so good, didn't it? Give a squeeze to your inner thighs like you're closing scissors. Lift from your back leg. Try to poke the sky. Land in the earth really soft. Fold as much as it feels good to you. Then rise in some capacity, whether you're rolling, coming up and out of that little bitty swimming pool. Let's try twice more. This time we're gonna elevate the lunges. Start to open overhead. Any way you wanna fall. So I'm gonna open arms for this one. Make it your own, yogis. Halfway lift abs on, fingertips to shins. Top of head long away from tail. We're gonna speed up a little bit and build some warmth. Exhale, fold. Right leg lunges back. See if you can keep the back knee elevated as your arms rise. Find length, tucking in through the ribs. Ribs towards back body, so we're not flaring into back bend. We're just lengthening here. Palms clasp, thumbs to nape of neck, lift elbow points. Now try to bend deeply into your right knee. We're gonna add on a tad. Arms sweep back open overhead. I want you to think about pressing your right hip flexor forward. So my knee is straight, see how my hip is pointed back? My knee is bent, see how my hip is pointing forward, yes? Okay, try that. Maybe you want to bend a little bit deeper. I want you to really feel open expansiveness in the psoas muscle, front of right hip. One more big breath in. Eye gaze may wander upwards for a little balance challenge. Give me some jazz hands, wiggle your fingers. Exhale, frame out front foot and lift hips high, wide pyramid. Squeeze inner thighs together, soft left knee. Stay here, or we can travel around on this one too, using any props. The floor is built really low in this posture, isn't it? Coming on around for a little twist, a little extra love. Come on back forward, yogis. Rebend your front knee, push right to dog. Now, if you need those pit stops, take it. We're gonna re-meet one another in child's. Forearms down, striking cobra pulls us through. Inhale, chin and chest, skim the surface of your mat. Rise into any back bend that's really pleasing and push back to a dog. All right, let's add on. Big breath in, right leg rises. Bend your heel to your butt and fan your hip open slowly. Continue squeezing your forearms together so we maintain a good strong chest, and then possibly peek out under your right armpit. Give yourself a little movement in your right toes, your right ankles, point flex circle. Maybe lift and lower through your outer thigh, possibly straighten. Remember, this is your time, your practice, so do everything that feels good. Look on forward and arc your right knee up and around outside right pinky finger. Wide lunge. Oh gosh, a yoga gift. Isn't this one so nice? Try to be elevated on your left knees, but if it feels better for your hips, drop down. Left foot steps in. Find a little yogi squat. It doesn't have to be a big one. We can come up here, we can sit here, or all the way down if this feels great for you. Big stretch, huh? All right, let's move on. Hips rise, wide-legged forward fold rolls us up to extended mountain pose. A little hop or a little yoga dance in. So fun. Arms rise, lengthen here. Exhale any way you want to get to the earth. Halfway lift from your forward fold. Wiggle fingers behind you. We don't need to use our shins. Use a strong belly, soft knees, long spine. Exhale, release left leg, lunges back. When you're ready, arms rise. Elevate and shine here. Lift up. Palms meet overhead. Thumbs graze the nape of our necks. Our elbow points rise as our head pushes back a tad. Inhale, arms reopen, and then we're bending that left knee. Really, I just want you some way to be able to tuck. So it might just be for you a little tailbone tuck. Try to press that left hip flexor forward. You may need to bend a little more, maneuver around through your tailbone, press forward. Front ribs in, really lengthening like you could lift from your back ribs or lift from the back of your skull. Exhale, frame out front leg, wide pyramid pose, squeeze your scissors together. Inner thighs squeeze to roll that back hip point forward. Find lots of length in your side bodies. And if you want to stay, please do, or travel around to the right side with me. If you're using suction cuppy fingers, try not to splay your knuckles open. I want you to squeeze fingertips together so the heel of our hand gets really hollow. If anybody ever saw Beetlejuice, do you guys remember that, like, or was that the Addams Family? I don't know. It was some weird hand creature. It always reminds me of it when we talk about that. Come on back, my friends, to wide pyramid, lunge position, and then downward facing dog. Take a moment in dog, drop to knees and forearms. One more striking cobra, look to thumbs. Skirt through, a little shimmy, shimmy. Up you go, back bend of any choice. Pull back into dog. Take as much time as you'd like, and an in-breath will rise your left leg. Push long. Let's think about squeezing our forearms together. Heel bends to butt, knee yawns open. Okay, now once you get it open, how does your foot feel? Do you want to circle, point, flex, scrunch up your toes? You can lift and lower, do all things that make you feel wonderful here. Take one more big breath in, then look to your left pinky finger. Try to arc your left knee around that corner, landing in this delicious wide lunge. Right knee down or up, you choose. Maybe try both and see what's the best for today. So nice. Right leg steps up, ready for that squat. So if you're up high, you can use your hands. If you're down low, forearms. And if you're really low, you can use your elbows. Come on in. Pull your pelvic floor up and in like you're stopping the flow of urine. Really suction everything up. I like to think about giving my internal organs a hug when I do that motion. Hug up and in. Wide-legged forward fold. Roll to the top. Arms up and overhead, a big V for a victorious breath. Get your little yoga dance on or a little tiny jump. Exhale, forward fold again. All right, guys, take a moment. Well done. Let's do some strength work, a little bit of warrior fun. Right leg steps back when you're ready to lunge, just until you're ready to roll that right blade edge down and windmill elaborately. Really like open here, up into warrior two. Take a little peek that your ankles are under your wrists. So if you landed here, oh, that's hard. But if you landed here, you need to widen, right? So just kind of wiggle out, step out, ankles underneath your wrists, and settle in. Palms can turn up for a sec. Nicely done, yogis. Let's take a reach over to the left side. Let the left forearm fall, but not on the thigh. If you can help it, we're gonna try to hold up our left palm like we're serving a platter. Be really strong in our core. Right arm comes anywhere. If it's too intense overhead, we can hold the shoulder head, we can hand to heart. Get really strong in your core and then rotate chest open. Eye gaze up past the right elbows or right shoulders. One more big breath. Back to warrior two at the bottom of that exhalation. Find your relaxed shoulders. Wiggle fingers, possibly checking in with palms up. Sun warrior. Now same thing, we're gonna try to float this right arm. So if that means we have to move the left arm somewhere less intense, do. Wanna really encourage that our bottom sides are lifted in these postures. So I think about beach ball squeeze right overhead. Soft in your right knee, elevated in your right arch so your inseam is energized. One more big breath in. Come back to warrior two. Soft and steady. Pull your right knee up. Excuse me, that's your left knee. Reach your left fingers out and then find a triangle. Fingertips float to earth. Right arm anywhere that it feels really good. Lots of options. Okay, same thing. If possible, get light on this left arm, reach it anywhere. Soften your left knee. Think about squeezing your left heel to your right arch. Squeeze together for a firm foundation, and then see if you can open the arms. Long, flowy breaths. If your breath ever gets impossible to find, really hitchy or restricted, then we know we need a less intense option. One more big breath in. Try to keep arms where they are and swivel to the back, reversing our triangle. Lengthen. Good. Especially through that right arm on this side. Left arm is the one that has the privilege to just find whatever works. Opening bottom side. One more big breath in. Are you still sealing your left heel in towards your right arch? Keep squeezing. Warrior two. Just a soft second. Right toes turn in, windmill all the way down and around. Push back to downward facing dog. Great job, guys. Okay, you could stay right here and then switch sides. You won't be able to see me if you do that. I'm gonna take you through a little flow if you'd like to join. More traditional vinyasa here. Move forward into plank or kneeling. You choose. Soften down into chaturanga. Rise up into any back bend that feels really opening and great. Press back to downward facing dog. Right leg rises. We're gonna step on in. Now you can stay here in preparation for the other side, or if you want a little bit more release, step forward with me, forward fold. Roll to sky, lengthening your spine. Re-roll right down, articulating your spine one vertebrae at a time, fall so slowly. Left leg takes a long lunge back. Whenever you feel ready, you can either find a high lunge and then revolve, or spin down through that left blade edge now. And my favorite part is that big windmill up. Feeling good? Nice. Just find this for a moment. Check it out. Do I feel wide enough? Ankles under the wrists. Good. Or am I wiggly enough and relaxed enough in my shoulders? I can always double check with palms up. Kind of helps you roll up, out, and down, right? When you're ready, reach over to the right side. Coming into that extended side angle. So the forearm finds the thigh, and we're gonna try to serve a platter, so really hold it up, and then go wherever you feel really strong in your right side with the left arm. So if you're feeling awesome, another great, I love to use the shoulder because it helps you like twist open. It's just a little encouragement. So we could try that, but if you feel good overhead, keep it, and then just try to roll your eye gaze up past the left elbow. One more breath. Back to warrior two at the bottom of that exhale. Find a soft moment to spread your wings. Keep the legs, but find a sun warrior. So that back arm, the left arm is the one that's gonna lift up, 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 up. And then we may hug a beach ball overhead. Eye gaze down if you feel a little wobbly, but if possible, eye gaze rolls up past the right elbow. Options with that right arm to make it less intense. Find lots of breath, unclench your jaw. Come on back to warrior two. Eye gaze forward for a moment. Eye gaze over right fingers. Draw your right knee in, strong triangle. Reach all the way forward, a little bit more, then land. Now we can go anywhere with the left arm, right? Skywards if you're feeling great. Take a little yoga prop to help you. Build the floor up if you need it. Find lots of length in your right side. If you feel great, top arm reaches overhead. So we need a strong foundation, but not a lock in our knees. Soften right knee, and then think about rusty scissors. Like it's not easy to scissor these thighs together. We're gonna try to bring our right foot into our left arch. Keep the legs. Shift back to reverse triangle. That feels better, doesn't it? Reach out. Left arm can float down. If possible, keep it up. One more squeeze of that beach ball. We're hanging on to every last second of summer right here. Rebend into warrior two. Ooh, that's a nice reward. And when you're ready, windmill. Left toes turn in. Come on down to low lunge. Press back to downward facing dog. Feel free to stay, yogis. This final vinyasa is completely optional as always. Rolling forward on an in-breath. Out-breath to get us to the floor. In-breath to rise us into a back bend. Out-breath for downward facing dog. In-breath, left leg rises. Out breath, cheetah crunch. Land that lunge. In breath, back leg rises. And we're all together here in forward fold. Well done, yogis. I love when the strength portion is over because you can check that box and now we get to have all the yoga fun. Rise to the sky. Okay, let go of any expectations. We're gonna move into balances. We're just gonna have fun. This is just yoga. We're just creating shapes. We're moving, we're freeing our body for long lasting healthy body love. Lift up through your left foot. Could be just the heel. Everything can be on the ground as we move, okay? If you can, whole left knee rises. I love this sequence. We're gonna try to squeeze through our left thigh to straighten our legs. Does not have to be high. This is a great leg straightener. Still squeezing, still pointing, still energizing. Right hand holds the left thigh somewhere. So we can hold on with a bent knee, or if you're feeling really good, you can grab onto the long, straight portion of your leg, and then swivel the left arm behind you. Try to squeeze inner thighs together for balance as our eyes move over to the side, and possibly right eye finds your left thumb. Come on back into the center, slow and steady. Swap arms, so either left hand to the inner thigh or inner foot, whatever feels good. Some people will even do peace fingers, the index and the pointer of the left hand around the big toe. Try to open out to the side. So remember my low option. I can be right here at all times, down on the floor. And if you're feeling balanced, we're gonna move eye gaze to the right. Especially that left eye, gonna find your right thumb. Super balancing when we use opposite eye to connect with the opposite side body. Come on back forward, slow and steady if you can. Rebend your knee if it's straight, arms up and overhead. Flex your left foot and see if you can cross for a figure four. Stay wherever it feels good. Might feel really good to land your hands and sit deep in this invisible yoga chair. Or, I like to reach forward, yogis. The more you get your body forward and down, if that's in your practice, the bigger this stretch is gonna feel on your left thigh and glute. And I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good to use the floor. So it may not be accessible for everyone, but this feels way easier for me than it does if I just try to hold up here. So find something that feels great. Really flexing strong through this left foot to protect our joints and get a good stretch on the left and right side equally. Last but not least, yogis, our final trick on this side. If you're down, I'm gonna ask you to rise just hands to leg, trying to twist over to the right side. So you can either do like a little tree hugger move, squeeze a tree, or bear hug your bestie, your kindred spirit, and twist over to the right. Or I like to use the bottom of my foot and try to take fingertips to it for a little leverage. Try to sit a bit deeper in your right knee. What happens there? Ooh, that stretch gets more intense on the left thigh, yes? Eye gaze back forward, slow and steady, yogis. Lift your knee one last time, or lift your heel if you were down on the floor. Release. You can't really expect a lot. You kind of get that attitude, that sass, that yoga sass to stretch it out. So you just want to shake, shimmy, massage your back, massage your knees, anything you need, especially on that standing leg. I like to roll those toes over. So nice. And when you feel ready, we get to do it all again. Who's excited? 2 hands in the air if you are. Okay, bring them up even if you aren't. Right heel lifts. Right knee lifts. So I'm gonna think about lifting from my inner thigh, because if I don't, I get a wonky hip and I'm not really using my core. So think about lifting from inner thigh. Try to straighten your leg. Remember, here the whole time, even through this figure four is an option. Good strong quad, squeeze, squeeze. Left hand finds something, bent knee option, straight leg option. Soften your right knee if you've extended fully forward. Right arm starts to spin behind us, and our left eye is gonna try to find that right thumb. If you get really wiggly and off balance, look forward and down. When you're ready, yogis, a slow transition back forward, holding right inner thigh, right inner foot or peace fingers around the big toe. Sweep outwards with bent or straight legs. Opening the left arm is a great counterbalancer. If you're feeling steady enough, we might want to look to the left fingers, especially with that right eyeball. Can you wink on your left eye? Try to look at the left thumb with only your right eye. Oh, that's a balanced doozy. It's Friday, so we just got to go for it. One more big breath in. Slow swivel back forward. When you can, bend this knee and then bring arms overhead. It's our Karate Kid moment. Flex your right foot, cross it over the left thigh. Really flex that foot there. We can stay here. This is great. Hey, feels good. Or we can, don't look at me because you'll get the wiggles. I'll send them to you. Try to wiggle forward a little bit further. Get heavier in the upper body. Maybe even floating fingertips to shin or earth. So nice. Once you've arrived in your favorite spot, recheck that your right foot is flexed. Take a big breath in to help your body rise back up. Just land hands on shins for a sec, get your balance. And then we're either gonna do that giant bear hug and twist to the left, or we can take our fingertips over, reaching for the bottom of our foot. We can use anything. We can do hand to left hip. Just give yourself a little lever to twist around. One more big breath in brings us back to center, slow and steady. Right knee rises again. And then we get to do the best thing ever and go and let it all go. So whatever you need. Sometimes our knees get cranky. We need to massage those. We got to try to move in our hips and our low back after that big stretch. Do a little hula hooping. Okay, and take as much time as you need in that release because it's so good. But then when you're ready, fingertips to sky, exhale, forward fold. Let's take a load off, yogis. Come on down to the earth. Any leg that wants to bend first. Soft landing. Close the soles of your feet together. Let's make a little butterfly here. Once you have it, you just decide where you want to be, buns close to heels or not. Try to scooch your buns apart so your tailbone isn't having any flesh caught under. And then lean back. Peeling shoulders open, smiling in your collarbones. Turn fingers so that your elbows are soft and your shoulders feel really open and happy. And then try to wiggle your pelvis, your inner thighs, and your groin a bit forward, like you're pressing forward as you uplift your chest. Next breath rises us all the way back forward, and see how it might feel to widen up. Maybe you were sitting really close to your heels. It may feel more accessible to fold forward if you have more of a diamond shape. And then reach forward. If you can, hold your shins, or you can even hold the sides of your mat. That's really cool. We can pull, love that. Get as long as you can, but then give yourself permission to just surrender. You know, we are like made so beautifully, kind of like that little forward fold where we fitted our knee into the socket. We have this awesome little curve, this little circle in our arches, that if you're really deep in this fold, you can land your forehead right in there. Such a great little place to chill, as long as you don't have stinky feet. Take a few more breaths in here, yogis. If there's any twists and turns we need, or little body rolls to help our low backs really stretch out, please take it. 2 more beautiful breaths in, and we're going to kick it back up a notch for some core work today. All right, at the bottom of that exhalation, use your fingertips for support to rise back up, possibly using hands to close in our thighs. And then we're gonna hug onto the backs of our thighs, tuck your chin to your chest, roll your angry cat back open, but then reach forward, keeping big toes plugged in, guys. We're gonna roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. It's gonna get really tough, so stay breathing, but hang on to your core activation. Fingertips may lower to help you get there, 1 tiny vertebrae at a time, and then lower fully. Okay, get all the way down into the mat, but our toes are gonna rise to the ceiling. Once you lift through your toes, let's make sure our low backs are firmly planted. You could do a little prep work with some cat-cows in our bellies here, lifting up to cow with belly lifted, air under low back, and then push back down like a cat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, push. Now keep it anchored in there. Point your toes and bring toes together so there's energy through the midline of your legs. Just start a little lower and lift, a scissor kick it's called. But we want to go super straight, not like limp noodle bicycle legs, super straight. Feel good? If you do, keep them really short and sharp and start to lower to the point where you're like, oh, my back's gonna rise. Pause right there. Stay right there. We're gonna make it challenging. And then if you want, certainly you can make them wide and slow. Make it less intense, but if you can, kick it up a notch and really squeeze through your quads and belly. Too easy, yogis? Sweep hands down by sides, turn your palms up, and then lift through your chest, but look at the sky. So we're really keeping a long, open throat and neck here. Keep on scissoring. We only have 4 more seconds. Take a breath, take a breath. And 1, toes the sky, head melts back down, arms now. Woo. Give your feet a little stretch, a little roll, because we're gonna do 1 more. So the scissors are gonna change from down and up to side, ankles are gonna crisscross, left on top, right on top, left on top, right on top. Y'all ready? Get your bellies snapped into your spine, low backs down. Start it from right up top where it's easy street. Think again, super strong, straight steel rods. Squeeze from your inner and outer thigh. Squeeze in, out, in, out. All right, this is too easy, yes? Lower a tad, open your yogi toes. Try not to scrunch them up too much, you'll get tired that way. Are you on that edge? Like, oh, my back's gonna rise, but I'm fighting it. Okay, so if it feels easy, we need to make it a bit harder. Reach to bottom of mat, flip palms up for open shoulders. Eye gaze stays up, but we uplift the chest, bottom of shoulder blades. Try to rise. Keep your toes poking long, yogi. Sometimes they start to pigeon toe in. Keep them long, straight and strong. 4 more seconds. Breathe, guys. 2 and 1. Back to ceiling. Hug your knees in. Good job. Move through your ankles. Woohoo! I love that. Let your knees fall wide if that feels good for your inner thighs. They worked really hard. Straighten one leg at a time or both. All right, 1 more little fun core thing, and then we're gonna stretch our hips to finish class today. Close your legs, hug yourself into a little ball, do as many spinal massage, rocks and rolls as you need, and then when you're feeling good, you're gonna turn all the way over to hover, my friends. Kneeling hover, totally awesome and an option. Okay, let's rise around the corner. Look at me real quick. We're gonna do forearms like this, okay? Forearms down, parallel to one another, and the top edge of our mats. When we get there in this forearm hover, toes are really pushing long, belly is in tight, but of course I can always have my knees down. Now watch how this is gonna work. I'm gonna transition to right arm rising, side plank. If so, I have knees down, left heel comes behind my knee. It'll be easier to see on this side. Left arm rises, my right foot would come behind my right knee. See that? And if I don't have knees down, it's a little easier. I just scissor my feet. I'm gonna not worry about my knees at all. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, yogis, we only have 8 of these. Let's turn on a strong core. And when you're ready, right arm rises. Let's breathe with these movements in and out. In and out. At your pace. Listen, if 8 is not in your practice today, do as many as you feel really strong doing. If you're super tuckered out, forget it, hold it, do a little baby cobra, do whatever you can. Lots of breath, yogis. About 2 more, or maybe you're just holding your hover, stretching. Everyone come on down. Forearm hover. Turn the palms so that they're perpendicular to the front edge of your mat. Land your knees. Land your belly. Land your forehead on the back of your hands. Make a little pillow. Okay, take your toes as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out so your inner arches are down for a little crocodile pose. I like to take my buns, jiggle them right to left like a bowl full of jello, and then it's a beautifully releasing technique for your low back. Let's turn our toes back to the earth. Okay, finishing up with frog, half frog and a beautiful frog transition into spinal twist. So I want to show you two different ways to get there. If you're not sure what half frog is, check me out. We're going right leg first, bringing our right knee straight from this prone position up somewhere towards our right side. It can be low or high. Your little frog foot lands directly behind your knee and your toes are turned out. Option, if it's too hard to maneuver your hip from there, you could come from a wide tabletop, do the same thing, right? Inner knee comes down. We can stay up high, something under belly, on forearms, or laying flat. Definitely get cozy under that right knee. So if you need something soft, put it under there. Or you can take the edge of your mat and roll it up like this. So much better, right? Okay, so do what feels really good, yogi. Something under your belly would be really supportive. Otherwise, I want you to promise me that you're gonna pull your belly in and then think about rolling your right hip forward towards your fingers. Okay, check on your right foot. Is it right behind your right knee, and are your toes turned down? Cool. You can stretch all the way out if you want. And an optional add-on here is going to be our right outer ankle, lifting, slowly lowering so we don't clunk the earth. Lift, internal rotation of our hip, lower. Try that again. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Half frog is really great for our inner thighs and our hips, but if I'm being honest, I love it the most because this next back stretch is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I hope you like it as much as me. So we're gonna thread the needle, yogis. Hands, even if you're up high, left arm is gonna thread under the right. Turn your left palm up or down and then make a little pillow for the left side of your head, or you can reach your right arm out behind your back, whatever works. Half frog, thread the needle for a moment. And then look at me before you go so you don't get confused. Right arm is gonna rise. As you turn your right shoulder towards the floor behind you, it's probably not gonna connect. Your right knee will start to draw in, which allows you to roll into bliss. Seeing how that feels for you. So then if this is extremely intense for your low back, you're just gonna pull your left knee up to your right and you'll have more of a normal spinal twist. If it's not intense enough, right leg could straighten with a soft right knee. You can put a little pressure with your left hand on that outer thigh. Gigantic twist. So we're focusing on long, slow, calm, collected breaths. Especially targeting the areas where we're feeling sensation in our low backs, our tailbones. And then you're always going to listen to your bodies about what the best way for you to exit any posture is. My favorite way, because we're still going to do the other side, is to go back to the half frog, thread the needle, belly in, so we're protecting low back as we move. I like to use my right hand behind the left so I can swing my chest back to front, and then I just simply close my legs. So if you need to push back into like a child's pose, you could. You come from half frog and take a stretch in child's. Remembering that we can hit this next half frog from table if we want to bring our left knee in and find it this way. We can come from our bellies all the way down to the floor and then come in here. So whenever you're ready, taking the inner left knee down to the floor, try to make it really soft if you can. Left heel behind the knee, toes turned out. Make a little pillow and rest in your half frog. You can stay up high, belly in. And when you feel ready, we're going to thread the needle. Right arm coming under the left. Staying here, you can always bend your left elbow and use that as your little pillow or draw something in close to you. When the time feels right, left arm will rise to sky. Left knee starts to scoot in as our left arm, mine doesn't reach the ground, it just hangs in outer space. If that feels too intense, you can connect it to your body. But we have this big spinal twist. So once you've arrived, if it's too much, you just draw your right knee up next to your left underneath of it and kind of chill out here for a sec. If we need a little extra, we're straightening our left leg, soften the knee, and then possibly landing a little bit of a heavy right hand on the thigh. Soft, flowy breaths. Try to unclench your jaw, relax your facial features. And when you feel you've had enough of this twist, any way that it feels good for you to come out. So if you just want to hug your knees together and turn to your back, go for it. But I would like if you could rewind the way we came in, back to that thread the needle for a moment. Let your right hand go, pull your left leg back. So you might be lying flat prone now, and then push on back to child's pose. Taking a second to rock and roll hips side to side if you feel like you want to clear that energy out of your low back. And when you're ready, revisiting that breath practice, Chandra Vedana that we started in the beginning, with a rise back to seated, any position. I'm doing toes pose, so it's up to you how you want to end. Wipe off your right hand. That way, remember, we're going to use right thumb to nostril to seal, only breathing in left, and then only breathing out the right, okay? So I just like to use my alternate fingers, my thumb and my index finger. We're gonna try that quick little pause in between the breaths, try to find that perfect moment of stillness. When you're ready, breathe in and out, just normally, one time. Okay, when you're ready, yogis, thumb closes right nostril, breathe in through the left. At the top of that breath, close both nostrils for a quick count of 3, 2, 1, right nostril opens, exhale out of it. Close right, open left, inhale. Both nostrils are sealed, hold for 3, 2, 1, exhale right nostril. 3 more rounds like that, inhale left. Pause here, both nostrils sealed. Exhale right. Twice more. Last round, yogis. Let your hand fall somewhere, calming and relaxing. Wiggle your nose. Mine always itches after I do that. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center as a sign of gratitude for your practice today. Yogis, I hope that your long holiday weekend is filled with loving kindness, grace and ease, self-care, more yoga. Maybe I'll see you in one of those classes. And I wanted to thank you for sticking through this, through all of this crazy pandemic, for keeping dedication to yourself and to your practice, helping us all stay motivated and accountable. Great job. Kudos to you, and thank you for that. The light in me honors, acknowledges, is inspired by, humbled by, and so truly grateful for the light that is each and every one of you. Namaste, my friends.